Hey guys, today we're doing a quick video on suspension tuning on a Vanquish VS4-10. The Vanquish is sitting a little bit low, probably about 3 fingers high on the outside running board. That's probably close to 2.5 inches. I just need a little bit more height because when I'm going over the rocks, and I run these tires that are a little bit shorter than these ones here. The J Concepts are 5 inches and the Deep Woods are 4.75. So if you're gonna do a comp, you need a 4.75 tire, and it does really good with this setup with these tires. But once I took those off and tried the Deep Woods out on the rocks, I was hanging up, high centering a lot more. So what I want to do is raise these Desert Lizards up about half an inch. I'm gonna take these stiff springs from the Desert Lizards, and I'm gonna put them on the in the shock, so it raises up just a little bit. I also appreciate with the Desert Lizards that you can control the droop. I got a little bit of a spring on there controlling the droop, but you can go down further. And then on the back, I like to run that a little stiffer, because when you're wheeled up, if this sucker tips over, it's just gonna flop. So I'm trying out just a little bit more resistance there. So what I'm probably gonna do with this is put the 1/2 inch spring as well in the backs for the jounce, and then up top, I'll probably have to do a little bit lighter spring to keep it still have a little bit of movement from going all the way rebounding, or all the way down on the rebound. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that going. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this body off. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the screw on the top mount. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and take the body off, set it right there. Go ahead and pull the tires and wheels off. So these tires are directional, and the fronts are also weighted. Probably got about 2 ounces in the front. So you can tell the front ones just by the weight of it. A lot of people say they don't recommend spinning weight, but if you crawl slow, it doesn't seem to make too big of a difference. And it's cheaper than spending $300 on a axle when you're a dad and you got priorities over RC car toys. Okay, and then next thing we're going to do is we can do the backs. So it's got pretty heavy downward motion, so we're gonna loosen that just a little bit. I'll figure out what's inside of here, and then we're gonna put one spring in there to kind of limit the upward travel, so it effectively lifts the vehicle up. The main reason is if these tires are where it's at, the ruptures, but J Concepts ruptures, but they are also 5 inches. That extra 1/4 inch with these tires made all the difference in the world when it came to rock crawling in the backyard. So if I were to do a comp and had to run 475s, I don't want it to be so low that I'm hanging up on everything. So we're just gonna raise it up the 1/2 inch that these springs will provide, and then loosen up the downward travel to compensate for that. So I have the proper amount of flex. So we're gonna go ahead and take the back shocks off. I prefer to have the body of the shock downward. That puts more of the weight on the axles. I think that they're designed to be lighter on the bottom, but with rock crawling you want more weight on the bottom. Be careful because this guy will come out. If you lose that in the carpet, it's a bad day. So set that over there. We're just running 30 weight oil. Okay, so there's no downward spring. So we're gonna set these guys right here. And then in the back I have this pretty heavy spring lifting the axle up towards the body. I'm gonna change that out. And then there's a little C-clip on top right there. So set that down on something. And I use these little, there's a tool, but I use these little pliers because this is what I have. Okay. Just able to get that off. Okay, and then I've got a piston that is 3-hole piston. So I'm gonna go trade this out for a softer one. So I can either go longer, the lightest one, or the medium lightest one instead of this medium heavy one. So I'll just kind of put it together and see what feels better. So we already put, I believe, okay, yeah, we put the heavier spring in there, heavy short spring. So we're just gonna put the 3-hole piston back on. And we're gonna put this little clippy back in. Don't let it fall on the carpet. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and click that in. Okay. And we're gonna just put some more 30 weight shock oil. And this guy here. Just kind of fill it up halfway to the top of the threads. These guys must leak because I Should have had more fluid than that. So, and then you put that guy back together. And that's the bleeder. It's got a seal on top. So you run this up almost to the seal. You back off a little bit. Go up and down. You can see it's pushing air bubbles out. And that's going to be pulling the axle towards the chassis. And you just got to find that combination where it'll pull towards the chassis but not stiffen it up so much. That's as far as it'll go up because that stiff spring I have in the bottom. You just slowly go up and down for a little bit until the air bubbles kind of stop. Okay, then we'll tighten that down. Gentle around that seal, otherwise it'll pop out. Okay, looks like what's going to be, so I'm going to wipe that sucker down. The nice thing about these lizards is if they do leak, it comes with that kit right there where it has new shaft seals and O-rings for. All right, so that's just about the right amount of travel for the back. About 3/4 of an inch, half to 3/4 of an inch up and down. Then we're going to go ahead and put this guy back on. And yeah, there's a kind of an offset right here. And I like to space, there's a spacer on this little ball. So there's an offset there and a spacer on the ball. I like to do that so the shock's centered. Probably doesn't matter, but if you were running this, so this was up here, if you didn't have it right, you'd probably have bind right in here. This one used to be mounted higher, but I lowered it down to the link mount. Alright, so that one's done. So I effectively gave a 1/2 inch lift and gave it pretty soft. Half to 3/4 inch of travel. Okay. All right, then the one last thing we're gonna do today is we're gonna put these running boards back on. And the reason for that is these tires aren't very wide. So when you have them on, you're dragging at something, they'll just kind of bounce out, if that makes sense. But with these guys here, they're very wide. If you're dragging at something like a stick, it'll go in there and just get caught right there. And I'm not okay with that. So if we add this factory running board and you drag along that line, nothing will get back there. Okay, and then I believe if I put these tires on instead run these ones and put it on, it'll still have clearance and not rub. So it's kind of a win-win. And the factory Vanquish running boards are very smooth. There's some things I did with the bottom, like I smoothed out that diff cover is kind of squarish. You can see that on the bottom, so I smoothed that out and just kind of ran along here and smoothed out anything that could catch a rock. These little heads, I smoothed those. Just the little ends of these links that are sharp, I smoothed those. So effectively, whatever I would have got if I was wheeling it for a month or so on the rocks, I did just really quick. So now when you run your hands down, this is all smooth. And this running board, same thing. So we're just gonna go that route. And the other perk is when I have these running boards on, and then I put this body on, and I roll it, instead of the body pushing down below, the running boards will actually keep the body from pushing down so much that it does damage here and here. So it might even help. I'm not sure if it'll help me to self-right, but we'll try and see. So I believe I had all the hardware right here. It looks to me like it'd just be something as simple as that guy going into there. So you have to run your tool through the hole here. It's another nice thing about the Vanquish, you've got really big hex screws. That don't strip out very easily. Okay. Feels very good. Very smooth. Now we'll get some more bolts. Okay, and we'll just put the wheels on. Let's check to make sure these still fit, so no surprise in case I do a last minute swap. Okay, totally clears.
Yeah.
Even when it's all the way down. Might rub just a little right there. That's okay, I can do a little trimming right there. And we clear there too. Very good. So I'm gonna take these off. Actually, I'm just gonna leave these on for now. I'm gonna do a trade with the Deep Woods to my buddy. He's got some of those like 6-lug Chevy rally wheel looking wheels, and they have the rose gold, which I don't like, but I can take the rose gold off with probably some steel wool, and these will get nice and rusty. Later on, maybe I could paint them. And these also have dual foams. I think my son's has regular foams, and it just seems to get a little bit better contact area. So I'm probably gonna switch them to regular foams and try that route. All right, so those two wheels are on. The nice thing about these ruptures is they're non-directional. So you just stick them on wherever. All right, I like that. It's got a good handle. Okay, a little bit taller underneath. So instead of 3 fingers, I could fit almost 4 under there. So I effectively raised it 3/4 of an inch. We'll have to try it out to make sure it's not gonna flip. So we got about, just under an inch up and down in the front and then in the back. Okay, Olivia. Bye, Olivia. And about the same in the back. So I'll have to try that guy out and go from there. All right, guys. Thanks for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it helped. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.